Okay, hello everyone. We are back. DK Vines, not E3 Stream-A-Ganza, day 3. And now we'll have uninterrupted action until the wee hours of tonight. So this is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. And this is my game of the year of 2019. And this is the first time I'm playing it on Xbox, by the way. I've played it exclusively on Switch, even though I own it for every platform it's available on. Oh, hi, Jeff. Oh, hi. Jeff Onan, everyone. You really are. You really are. So, Jeff will be running color commentary on what happens, and he'll be also reading the stream while I am occupied with the gameplay. So, this is Playtonic's sophomore effort. So this is Playtonic's sophomore effort. And I like how it just launches you right into the game, right? Like, whoa, we've arrived in what? All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear.
Let us know in the chat if you can hear me now. Yes, they say.
Let us know in the live stream if you can hear it. Okay.
So they missed out on my great jokes. I had a couple great jokes, and that's okay. You just imagine they were great.
Well, they were really only appropriate, like, from the 1950s. They're just not appropriate for this.
They weren't that. No,
Cancel Jeff, everyone. Cancel Jeff.
Don't let him gaslight you.
Jeff Onan is Jeff Over Party. So, no, this game just launches you right into it. The title screen is Yooka-Laylee, like, getting tunneled down into the Grand Tome of the Royal Stingdom. The whole thing takes place in the Royal Stingdom, whereas, you know, Yooka-Laylee, you bounce around between Grand Tomes. This whole game takes place in one, so we get a deeper dive into a Grand Tome, and I really just love, I love everything about this game. This is a game that makes me feel like a kid again, in that it reminds me why I fell in love with video games in the first place. Right? I know that's such a hacky, cliche kind of thing to say, and I'm pathetic for saying it, but it is true. Like, this game makes me feel like I'm a wee little baby, man.
Little baby hoe.
So okay, whoa, and I just noticed that Yooka says whoa differently than I say whoa.
No, that's how I say
WHOA. You say whoa like that? Then what the hell is wrong with me? Whoa, we've arrived in the Royal Stingdom. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake your Stingdom. And there's capital B. I love the way capital B looks.
Just for the benefit of the chat, so you know, I am like watching the stream, so I'm not watching in real time with Hyle. I'm like on a delay.
Yeah. So, it's the dynamic duo, he says, capital B says. But capital B's design, I believe Steve Mails is responsible. I love his, like, military dictator, like, Banana Republic outfit here. It is so... It makes... obviously, like, we think about K. Rool, right? But, like, K. Rool switching personas. But I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. And there's Queen Phoebe. There's Queen Phoebe, the breakout character of the game. Voiced by our friend and sometimes accomplice, Daily.
And sometimes antagonist.
Okay, 90% of the time, antagonist. Arch nemesis.
I do like
our existence.
I like the new design on capital B, but I like that they still call him capital B instead of being like, oh, well, now I'm going by Commodore B or something. Yeah. Because then the abbreviation honestly, would just... Then if he changed his name every time, the only constant would just be the letter B. which is not a name. Not an easy thing. Like if you abbreviate him and just like he's B, like how you say K. Rool instead of King K. Rool.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Honestly, like going from capitalist businessman to wannabe autocratic dictator, it's a leap we've seen before. So, oh, there we go. And they just you go right into.
You and I are in this game.
What's that?
We're in this game, kind of.
We're referenced in this game.
Well,
We have got B characters named after us in punny names. Now you won a contest, you earned your way in, and well deserved, by the way. Well deserved. Bravo, Jeff. Bravo.
I worked my ass off
Cameron.
to win that contest, but all I did was make a really bad board game.
Well, DK Vine's fellow editor Cameron Regal is also in the game. He also won his way in the game. I didn't do jack shit. I think they felt sorry for me. They were like,
I think it's a trick by Daily so that she throws you one nice thing once in a while so that she feels no guilt for being mean to you all the time.
So this is my favorite character in the game. This is Boris, my favorite employee. And I have to say, I love how both Rare and Playtonic have given up any pretense of Americanizing words. Like, they will just write out the British spelling now. And it's like, yeah, we're an English studio. What the fuck do you want from us? We're not gonna, like, dumb it down for you Americans. I appreciate that. As an Anglophile and somebody who's very hard on myself, thank you, Playtonic. Thank you for not making this game for me.
I do have a comment on Boris.
Boris is gone, by the way.
Boris reminds me a lot of the character Bert in Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is just great, who's there to just, he's like, hey, go talk to my friend Bert and he'll open the gate. And then you go over there and Bert is just like, I'll open the gate. You can carry on with whatever it is you need. Like, it's a total non-character. And when we streamed Bad Fur Day the other night with the Idaho crew, that became a fan favorite character of the chat. It became, actually, people were starting to form a religion around Bert.
Oh, a Donkey Kong reference. Even a stubborn ape could. Capital B just said even a stubborn ape could roll jump, essentially. So Donkey Kong reference. There you go. This game is loaded with Donkey Kong references. Some of them Daly was responsible for, but that one I think was an Andy Preston line. Not Andy Preston.
Not Andy Preston.
Yeah, Andy Robinson. So many Andys. That's become the new Chris. Sorry.
Well, it's just the two. It's just the two Andys.
Yeah. Well, you mean so like many Andys. That's. I'm actually working on a screenplay called "So Many Andys."
Andy with a Y, Andy with an I, and Andy with two E's.
Can I just say, jumping from the gamepad, which I tried to play Donkey Kong Country 3 with, to the Xbox controller, oh my god, I feel like I have a binky now. I feel like I have my favorite blankie, and I'm just in a good mood now that I'm holding a controller that feels right. And I've never played this on the Xbox One either, so.
Jordan asked in the live stream chat, will this be on PS5? Well, the answer is it will probably be back compatible if you have a copy of it for PS4. So there you go.
Let's test it out. Onwards. Yeah! And then she laughs maniacally. I really like Yooka-Laylee's characterizations in this game. I feel like, and so now we're essentially in like the Impossible Lair. Almost. So it makes you lose the battalions here. Oh.
That first one that died, the first battalion guard that died, that was Hyle.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so we are battalions. When we say we're bees in a game, it's not like we're at the level of Queen Phoebe. We are bees you can rescue at the end of a level. and my bee is Hive Russell, like you're Russell in the hive, and then Jeff is of course Jeff Dronin. Shit.
Which is all I do on conversations. I drone on.
You drone on and on. Well, at least it's not a game about spilling your semen, because then they wouldn't have to change your name.
Yeah.
Maybe Bumper's game. Maybe whenever Bumper finally gets that game.
Maybe that can be
we all
Kitty's
want so badly. So Nintendo would have to buy back Bumper from Rare, but they could stick Bumper in Kitty's. He's Kitty's roommate. They're both on like prison release, and yeah.
Like they're not even friends. They're just kind of roommates by necessity. Like they needed someone to live with. Yeah.
No one will room with a fellow convict. Yeah.
He's like, hey Kitty, you don't live near a school, right?
And the kitty says, meow.
He just coughs up a hairball.
Oh, Queen Phoebe. Ouch. Ouch, how's she gonna sleep tonight with that insult?
Don't do it, capital B.
So, okay, this is the Impossible Lair, yeah, so you essentially get sucked right into the hardest part of the game. And this is after the patch too. They've patched this game now, so there's different ways to approach the Impossible Lair. You have a little bit more options than you used to. I have not tried the new. I've not played it much with the patch, so. But here we go. I am not going to attempt This is not an attempt to do the Impossible Lair in one go. I just want everybody to know that right now. I want to see. Oh, see, I just lost Laylee. See, and that's it. That's it. I really just want to get to Capital Causeway, which is the magnificent first level of the game outside the Impossible Lair. Yeah, so you could beat the game right there.
If you haven't played this before, the structure of it is that Capital B is in the Impossible Lair, and you need to defeat him.
Yeah.
And you can do that anytime, including just now, Hyle attempted it and failed.
Well, I didn't really attempt it, Jeff.
Well, but the point is the game makes you attempt it right at the start. And you didn't win, you didn't beat it. And then you get kicked out to the overworld, and you realize that you can explore levels to get bees, which will act as extra hit points and make that Impossible Lair easier. But that's optional. You can beat the Impossible Lair anytime you want if you're good enough. Jordan says, "Is it possible to do the layer on your first try?" Yes, it is, because it's not actually an impossible layer.
It's not, but it is. One, if this was the first time playing the game, that would be just an incredible feat. If you actually you would have to be some sort of god tier gamer, and I don't want to be your friend, honestly, if you're that good. But the real draw of the game, and this is really what Gavin Price was pushing before launch, is that it's not just a 2D platform. Everybody was saying when it premiered a few days before E3 last year, when it debuted, that it was just Playtonic's answer to Tropical Freeze. In some ways it is. In some ways that's an unavoidable comparison. But I really think that this game, like I was saying in the DKC3 portion of our Stream-A-Ganza earlier, I feel like Impossible Lair could feel like Donkey Kong Country 4 had they continued forward from it, and let's say the retro games didn't happen. Let's say this was an N64 game in 1997, Donkey Kong Country 4, right? So now the chapters of the Royal Stingdom have been spread around this overworld here. Oh, and there's Kablooey, one of the characters from this overworld is loaded with characters from the original Yooka-Laylee and some original characters too. You can see the The hat and the fishing rod over here, that is a clue about a character who will appear later on. Excuse me, a character that appeared in the original Yooka-Laylee.
So what's great about this, the overworld is its own gameplay. It's top-down, puzzly, you know, explore and do stuff to earn stuff. That overworld is its own separate gameplay, and what's great about it is that the marriage of that gameplay with the 2D platforming allows you to bring in those kind of 3D platforming elements, like a lot of NPCs with funny dialogue, which you really can't insert into the 2D levels as easily.
No, this scratches the itch that I've had this rash all over my body, Jeff. I've had this, it's a metaphorical rash. Right, these are called checkmates, by the way. They're the checkpoints. It's just so much clever design. And so quills are back, and you've got to collect quills, collect them. Also, I should point out that the design of the Royal Stingdom, it's all very thematically unified. Like, you're not going to get lots of great varying different terrain, but you're going to see a lot of it. And a lot of different parts of it, and they do a really good job of making the most out of it. This is an indie game still, but it never really feels like that's a twit coin. Twit coins are essentially the equivalent of the puzzle pieces in Retro's Donkey Kong Country games, but I like them so much better than the puzzle pieces, and it's because they're numbered, so you know exactly in what sequence you've missed one, right? So, and then these are new Ghost Riders, or Ghost Quills actually, but they're like the Ghost Riders of the original Yooka-Laylee. Oh, and then if Laylee runs off, you can reclaim him like in Yoshi's Island. And there, I got some more quills there. And then that's a checkmate, so now my progress is saved up until that point. Quills included, so.
So the thing is, with the Ghost Quills, kind of operate like the banana sprite things in Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns, in that they activate a sort of in-level, very mini game, like a micro game. It's like you do a little challenge, and it just gets you quills. It's totally optional, and the quills aren't needed necessarily for, like, they're kind of optional things. So, but what it does is it makes you like I'll chase after a thing that's spitting out a bunch of quills, even if it ends up killing me trying and I just wasted my time, because I get greedy, because I want the quills.
Can I just point out too, so these were originally called Laylee Bells. They essentially are the DK barrels of the game. If you lose Laylee, if she panics too much and she flies off, that's how you summon her back. DK Vine forum member Planacool said, why aren't they called Dingbats? They should be called Dingbats. And Playtonic, who troll our forum sometimes, or lurk on it, agreed and announced that Planacool's suggestion will be taken into account. They are now officially called Dingbats. So that was Planacool's contribution to Playtonic lore, DKU lore, whatever.
What's great with this is the health system is different, and I think a huge step forward for the genre that they've moved away from lives. There are no lives anymore. It's like you don't game over. It's like the penalty for dying is you have to go back to your last checkpoint. But there's also no hit points either, because if you lose Laylee, you can just get Laylee back. Assuming you can chase her down. So you can get hit infinite number of times as long as you can get Laylee back. And if you don't get Laylee back, then the penalty is just that you don't have as good a roll, you don't have the flutter jump, so you're a little bit incapacitated until you get to a Laylee Bell, a Dingbat, to get Laylee back. Yeah. So,
and I have to say, I never feel as incapacitated without Laylee as I do without Diddy or Dixie or Cranky in one of the retro games. Just because Laylee, I think, is a little bit more agile than Donkey Kong is. Although Donkey Kong is far more agile in those games than he is in the original Donkey Kong Country or Land. So these are the obviously barrel cannons, but they're more natural.
What are they called?
Balloon
Something.
boom, boomy blooms, boom boom
blooms.
bloomy bloom boom boom bloom bloom.
Mr. Bloombastic, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
From Donkey Kong Country 2. From Donkey Konga 2. Sorry.
From Donkey Kong Country 2, yeah. It's my favorite part of Donkey Kong Country 2.
It's when you're watching the island sink, and it's just playing Mr. Boombastic at the very end.
K. Rool's actually got it on his boat as he sails away. He's like having a boat party. It's like, K. Rool, your island, your people, your whole culture just went up in smoke. And he's like, yeah, but it's okay, because I'm rocking out. But I love the design. This has got such a nice, I feel like it's almost Dutch a little bit. I don't know what this interior design reminds me of, but it's got this very like floral kind of bright yellow.
And it's not just interior design, but just the architecture in general throughout this like Stingdom. It's all very consistent and like has its own personality. It feels like there's a culture to this region, that they all have a certain kind of architecture.
And so a little pro tip, if you want to farm quills ever, this is the place to do it right here, because you could, you can, when you die, come back at a future checkpoint, come back, that bridge will be up, and those minions will fall on those flames and go poof, and they will leave behind quills if you activate a tonic where they drop quills. So you can actually farm quills here as much as your heart desires. And and you need quills to
I think when we get on the overworld and kind of see some overworld challenges, it'll be a good time to explain what the collectibles do.
Sure.
And what's great about this game, and we'll explain in detail why, but this game is very economical with its collectibles in a way that they all have a very like meaningful purpose that makes them all satisfying to collect.
Meaningful.
Hey, look at you. You should write for Playtonic with that kind of pun language.
Hey. So that
you probably
actually
have
spawned
noticed,
a twit coin right there.
You probably noticed that each of the different ghost quills has their own like different kind of challenge. Like a green one will like a red one you have to bounce on it. The green one I think runs away and leaves a trail behind, like a banana sprite, etc. They each have their own.
It's similar to the Ghost Riders of the original Yooka-Laylee. They each have their own like way of capturing them. These all have their own challenge as well. So, oh look, little honey jars in the foreground. Look at that little detail.
So, if you are a fan of Donkey Kong Country 2 or Tropical Freeze style speed running, like the flowy level design, like very speed-based level design, this game has it. You can really kill it, and Hyle's going to be going slow for the sake of... He likes to look around.
I like to explain things. I like to
look at stuff.
I like to suck in lore and joy, Jeff. That's what I like to do. And
I'm just letting them know that
for
the
me
game
feels
can
like
be very fast if you are.
It can.
Like,
if that's the way
you
want, if that's what you get out of video games, if that's the way you want to play them, this game offers that. It's not like Donkey Kong Country 3 where it's a lot of stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. This is
like if you weren't going for if you weren't going for all these collectibles and you just wanted to get through the level quickly, the level design facilitates that in a very well-designed way, like Tropical Freeze does.
And it's a bit weird because on the Switch, I always have the one twirl activated where it's more like Dixie Kong's helicopter twirl. Doesn't last as long, but that's essentially what it is. And so I keep going to spam that, and I don't have it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you can customize your game experience with tonics, just like the first Yooka-Laylee, and we will kind of look at some of those when we get in the overworld.
But they really devoted time to the tonics in this one.
Super improved it.
Like,
it's honestly, it's one of the best parts of this game.
It is, because you can have, like, even after you've beaten the game and you've seen everything, you can make so many unique combinations of tonics and have different experiences each and every time you play.
Yeah,
I know they
kind
did
of
the
mod
math,
the game
like
and
how
make your own loadout.
I know they did the math, like how many
there was that Queen Phoebe statue back there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Lots of great detail.
This is a beautiful level. I mean, like all the little like city levels or like village levels like this one.
Yeah.
It's a great
Little
aesthetic.
town, like a little European town. That's what it's kind of modeled after. But like that's what's great about spending all this time in one grand tome. I love these little what are they called? Jeff? You know what these are called?
I don't know what they're called. I know that they're the red ones are a pain in the patootie.
Yeah, you made that shiny meme with them.
Yeah, I did. That got like that was probably my most popular tweet ever, which makes me sad because I worked really hard on the content, but I thought
Because
it
you're
was
a Sea
hilarious
of Thieves
too,
fan
so.
site, and
Yeah, I'm a Sea of Thieves fan site, and my Yooka-Laylee meme got the most retweets ever.
So yeah, I just love this game so much.
Yeah, so you're talking about the kind of consistency of the, like, there's still kind of only a few different looking level, like, they repeat a lot of, they don't physically repeat architecture, but, like, in terms of the design, the game is very consistent, and that is partially because it's an indie game and they can't make, like, every level a unique visual, like, new models and everything, but there's only, like, maybe 6 different level archetypes, but they do such a good job of making them feel unique. Like each level has its own thing, and it's great. You don't feel like treading the same ground all the time.
No, and honestly, it's nice to be in the same environment for the entire game. It feels like the Royal Kingdom is like one of the areas I know the best of. I feel like I'm intimately familiar with it in a way that you never really get to feel in a lot of games because you just see a sliver of that area, that environment. But
well,
that's not the case here.
I think of Grabbed by the Ghoulies as being like if they took Mad Monster
Yes.
Mansion and just made a whole game out of it. And Impossible Lair is like that, except it's for a world we haven't seen before, which is the Stingdom. But it's like one 3D platforming world stretched out to an entire 2D platforming game.
Alright, so here is the battalion. This is the end of level right here. So you break this open, this glass hive, and you free the battalion with the capital Bs. It's amazing that capital B took the time to build all of these statues just to be a dick. Like,
right, instead of keeping the battalion like in the Impossible Lair where you can't get to them,
right.
he puts them each in a little easily broken glass hive around the world.
Oh, it's fine. It's great. And this battalion member was not in the game originally. Oh, that's Buzzerland. Never mind. I was thinking of Gavin's bee. Gavin Price's the bee they named in his honor. That was replaced with a Kev Bayless bee in the patch, and I forgot the order here.
Gavin's
game,
was
but
Gav Sting.
Gav Sting, yeah.
Think, what was Kev's? I don't remember.
I don't know, but that was Chris Sutherland's bee right there.
It was
So,
Dre's asking how come. The answer was that Kevin Bayless didn't have a bee, and they just kind of didn't realize it. And so then they're like, well we're going to give him a bee.
The bad thing is he designed the bees, and then he didn't get one. He didn't do each design based on that employee or that person. They're just named after the fact, but they never named one after Kev, even though he did the designs. So, ouch. So Gavin, being the boss of Playtonic, decided, I'm gonna let Kev deserves a bee. I'm gonna remove my bee from the game. Now, according to Playtonic, Gav Sting is still canon. He just is not in the game.
Right, because he's in my copy of the game right now.
Is he? Or did they switch it out?
I haven't updated the game.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't count.
How? It's in there. I can boot it up and show you.
Alright, so I just want to point something out. So now Phoebe moves up there. That will be her station for the rest of the game. So it's saying, like, we could attempt the Impossible Lair again. We have one hit for the Impossible Lair. Or keep going. There's Bluey.
I love the little battalion tents.
Yes, that's what I was going to go up to show them.
Yeah.
So right now, like, these start forming when you rescue them, and there's more tents in this camp as the game progresses, and you free more battalion members. But then you can start climbing on them, and then reaching up here, and as you progress, the overworld becomes more and more accessible. So you'll see stuff like, oh, like how do I... but there's a secret. So there I found a tonic right there. And then I can activate that tonic if I want. And you see I approach, and this is the Highbury Towers entrance, by the way. If you can tell. But I can swim in here. Can't really do much, but...
We're about a half an hour in, so if we want to show some overworld, I don't know if we'll even have time to show a whole nother level.
Well, we'll do what we... Like I said, this is another game I plan on streaming quite a bit in the future. So this is just to get everybody excited about that possibility.
Hyle, push that block all the way to the end. Into the slot.
I just did, Jeff, but you're a little bit behind me, so it's fine.
I'm sorry. Jordan says the game looks cool. Jordan, I want to say, this is, if you like Tropical Freeze, or you like Donkey Kong Country platformers, and you like banjo-style humor and everything, this is probably top 5 DKU games. Like, it's up there.
Yeah.
It is an incredible game, especially for being an indie effort. It is so much more impressive, and I like the first game, Yooka-Laylee, but it is so much more impressive of a game than the original Yooka-Laylee. This is like an actual Game of the Year contender for a platforming game fan.
So here's Planker from off of the original Yooka-Laylee, and he and his buddies are all around, and they give clues to where tonics would be. So, and I like how they repurpose a lot of the Yooka-Laylee characters for this game. Like Kablooey is here just to give you hints. Like in tutorials, she's kind of like the Bottles here, or the Birdie. And you see there's a Pagey up there too. Pageys have a different purpose in this game. They're not the be-all, end-all collectible. They are actually more characters who will activate challenges for you on the overworld. The overworld, I keep comparing it to Donkey Kong Country 3 because it feels like a natural evolution of the map screen. This is like a map screen, but it's also Conker's Pocket Tales, it's Grunny's Revenge. It's a Zelda game, a classic 16 or 8-bit Zelda game. And when you look at the people who were working on this game and who was on Rare's handheld team, you start putting the pieces together.
Now, if I remember correctly, isn't Saberwolf Game Boy Advance kind of structured in this way, in that
yes,
it is like a top-down overworld with puzzles, and it's got the 2D platforming levels that you access from that overworld. And the lead designer, or I'm not sure the title, the creative director, the lead designer, I'm not sure, but it's Gary Richards, right? Joined Playtonic after we met him at E3 last year. It's been about a year.
We terrified him at E3 because we stalked him. We chased him down a hallway, and he turned, and he sweat on his brow, and we were like, "Get him, boys!"
Walking away from us, and I was like, "Hey, Playtonic!" So they turned around.
And they're like, "Oh my god!"
So he joined the team after the first game. I don't think he worked on the first game, but he was the head of the handheld team at Rare for many years. And then when that closed down, he moved into some kind of upper management role at Rare, and was still there for some years.
He got sawed.
They're so cute though. I hate when they die. I like killing the corplets in Yooka-Laylee. The corplets I don't care about, but these guys are the minions are almost too cute to kill. I have a heart, you know.
You do.
Not that bad.
I'm heartless. That's well established. Oh, but see, it's fine because it's not like Kiddy Kong where I kept hitting the buzz. See, in Donkey Kong Country 3, I was like doop doop doop, and then I was like, Kitty, no! But here,
you didn't know the run button, you know, because it was your first time playing a video game.
Yeah, no, Don Key Cohen, I don't know what this is. I've just been bluffing my way the last 20 years. I don't know anything.
So honestly, an hour is not enough to show off, because what would be really great is to show off a level and then a level state change, because that is honestly the other main gameplay component of this game that we might not even have time to show off. But the levels have state changes.
Yes. Can
Go
I
ahead,
point
Hyle.
out too that the buzzsaws? You see that there's a queue for Quackcore on there, and Dr. Quack's not even in this game. That's just their commitment to continuity and detail. Laylee, no!
But yeah, so state changes are basically the game has, I think, 20 platforming levels, which sounds like not very many, but by doing a puzzle on the overworld, you can do something that physically affects the book, the level entrance to that level, and puts it into a different state. So for instance, you pull a lever to make the water in a river flow through a dry riverbed, and it floods the level because the water fills the book. And now you play this. It's kind of the same level, except that
so I just lost Laylee.
It's really a brand new level at that point.
So now I am at a disadvantage. I just have Yooka, but it's not a deal breaker either. And there's a checkmate right there. So checkmates are a lot less aggravating than Professor Chops is with his incessant ringing. Oh, I have to jump up there. That's the one I have to hop on, so I'm probably not going to get that one.
It's just quills, though, right? Or is there a twit coin
I think it's just quills. Sometimes they're attached to twit coins, but very rarely.
Well, it might be you bounce on its head and you get higher, and then up top there's a platform with a twit coin. But you'll know. The thing is, you will know if you missed a twit coin the next time you get a twit coin.
Yeah, it's not like a puzzle piece, like where I have to get squawks to let me know where they are if I've missed one, and it's really challenging.
The twit coins are great because it's like a KONG
layer.
Lair.
I thought that would work.
Or DK coin, all wrapped into one. It's your main hidden collectible. There's 5 of them, so it's consistent every level, always 5. And that's great.
Yeah.
And then they're numbered, so you know if you missed one.
So, my first death, I apologize. But now I am back at the checkmate, and you see, press pause, still got 66 quills. Those were the quills I had when I died. And actually, if I hop on, not Boris there, whatever his name is. That's how you do it. Oh, and there's more quills up there I could have gotten, but there we go. I just needed an extra boost of confidence by having Laylee to really realize the way to go about that. Yeah, I almost regret that we're going to play Brawl Out in lieu of a second hour of this, because honestly, I don't want to shit talk Brawl Out, but
in this programming block, we strove for variety over like comprehensiveness.
Consistency, yes.
But yeah, you could definitely stream this game for like 5-8 hours and not get tired of it. It's just so much fun.
No. And I haven't gotten tired of this. Like, I've been playing this since it came out, and I'm still, like, in love with it. This is honestly in my top 3 games of the 2010s, and it came out right at the end of the 2010s.
So there's always going to be a lot of ways in which this is going to be compared to Tropical Freeze, although outside of a couple notable ways, I don't think they use Tropical Freeze for much inspiration.
There's a twit coin right there.
But, and there are ways in which Tropical Freeze will always have a leg up on this game just because of the budget and the size of the team there at Retro compared to Playtonic. That's this massive production with these expensive cutscenes and amazing graphics, and this game is a much smaller team, a much smaller budget. It still looks great, it plays great, but there are small ways in which they just can't match the AAA budget of Tropical Freeze.
Here's the thing, though. The people behind this game, they're seasoned pros, a lot of them. You know, so it's not like... It's like they know what they're doing, and they can make the most out of what they're doing. So even though they might have a more limited budget, the budget of this was much smaller than the original Yooka-Laylee. They didn't have any Kickstarter money. This was all financed off profits, you know, and revenue from Yooka-Laylee and Team 17's distribution deal. So there we go.
But yeah, so budget aside and indie aside, all that, this game gives any other platformer a run for its money. Just in in execution, like it may not be able to reach the highs of like variety of level graphics and the things that they just can't afford to do, you know, endless new art for. But in the ingenuity of design, this is among the best of all time. And there's a reason that I haven't really replayed Tropical Freeze since this came out, because this is filling that role for me. I don't.
Well, and that's why I love Tropical Freeze. I just said earlier it's my second favorite Donkey Kong Country game. But that's why I think I was so hard on it yesterday, is because this game, like the controls. When I played Yooka-Laylee on Tuesday, I said, you know, I think the play control of Yooka-Laylee is so much crisper than Banjo, and the play control of this is so much crisper than Tropical Freeze. This feels so good.
The other thing is that, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns, in some ways, seem to pare down the Donkey Kong Country formula to some basics, and then build its own brand new formula on top of that.
Yeah.
And Tropical Freeze brings back a little bit more from the past. It also builds on the new stuff that Returns did. But this game feels more like it draws from Donkey Kong Country 3. It draws from Donkey Kong Country 2 in ways that the other, you know, that the retro games, they feel more like a brand new thing than their own, like
sometimes,
they don't take a lot from Donkey Kong Country 3 at all. And that, if you like, which I adore that game, there's a lot that scratches the itch in this game.
Sure. Yeah, and this is what I envisioned Donkey Kong Country 4. If Rare ever made it, this is what I envisioned it would be like. And considering that it was the handheld team who wanted to do Donkey Kong Country 4, I have to wonder how much of that is actually a true statement. You know, like how much of it would feel similar had they made that game on the DS. I don't know. We'll never know. But we have this, and I'm thankful we have it.
Another factoid that's interesting is that they actually...
Speaking of retro. So that just killed me dead. So this feels like a retro Donkey Kong Country bit right here, where you have to run for your life. Set piece. You gotta run for your life. And I'm gonna miss... Oh, there. That activated the...
So, interesting thing is that I think they said that they had originally... play tested doing some side-scrolling levels in Yooka-Laylee, within the Yooka-Laylee engine, and they thought that, you know, the control style of the character, they actually designed it to work well in 2D and in 3D, and that's probably why Yooka-Laylee controls so well in both games. But they said that, you know, the idea was so promising that they didn't want to do it in Yooka-Laylee because they wanted to, like, they didn't have enough resources and time to do it justice. They just knew it felt good and that they could explore it in the future. Which they did with this game.
And you notice there's a door behind here, and I can't get to it. These crates are immovable. A lot of times you'll play through a level and you're like, how do I get that? And you can rack your brain for upwards of an hour, and then you realize it's for the state change. Like, the state changes vary each time. Sometimes... like, it just completely transforms the level and you can access areas you couldn't access before. Sometimes you're just treading into a completely different part of the level you never were before, and it's a different layout entirely.
Yeah, it's basically they take the 20 level layouts, but the level layout is designed to be used twice in two very different, unique ways, and so you end up with... it doesn't feel like the same level twice. It feels like two new levels. You might have a level where like I said, the whole level is flooded now, and it's like a water level. You might have a level where, oh, now there's a gust of wind, and so it's like you have to ride the gusts of wind, and that just completely changes the way you traverse the level, and you'll go through it in a different layout. You'll go through it, you know, you go through new enemies and placements of everything, and so it doesn't feel like you're doing the same level twice.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, Hyle. I'm a little second behind you there, and I watched you die.
Yeah, you heard me die first, and then you saw how it happened.
Because sound travels faster than eyes.
It does. That is a scientific fact, and we're proving it here today on DK Vines. Stream-A-Ganza, Day 3.
God, I love this
Yeah,
game. So you were playing Yooka-Laylee the other day, and I said that it was really kind of whetting my appetite to repeat it. But it was like a mildly, like, you know, that looks pretty good. Like, I'm a little hungry for that. Watching you play this, I'm, like, ravenous. Like, I love this game, and I want to play it again.
This game is a stone cold masterpiece. Like, and I heap a lot of praise on it, but this really is such a superb game. You know, Yooka-Laylee, I loved so much about it, right? And I still love a lot about it, but, you know, it is not a perfect game. And I think people were expecting utmost perfection when Yooka-Laylee came out. This is, I think, in many ways, a perfect game. And anywhere that it isn't perfect is not the game's fault, like budgetary reasons. It's an indie game, but it's an indie game that really goes over its weight class. It
really does. It's shocking. It's like you shouldn't be able to hold Playtonic to the same standards as Retro, and yet
Nintendo,
and there's many ways in which they outclass them here.
This blows away
the big hitters.
This blows away any Super Mario platformer. At least going back to the Super Nintendo, like the new Super Mario Brothers series. Forget about it. Get out of here. If you like those games, I'm not saying.
And what's great is that they have drawn a lot of inspiration from so many different sources, including Mario. Where you
Super
have
Mario World, yeah.
Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island both feel like they influenced this game.
A little Castle Crush right here.
But the other thing is, Breath of the Wild inspired this game. Because the idea of like the final dungeon being accessible anytime is if you're skilled enough, but then you go through the game to improve your skills before you go do the final dungeon. They got that from Breath of the Wild. Which, you know, if you're gonna be inspired by games, that's a good one to be inspired by.
Yeah. Oh, look at those crystals, man. That is, This is one of Capital B's many factories, or Capital B's taken over the factories of the Royal Stingdom. There is consistent lore behind it, but no.
Yeah, and we kind of harped a little bit in the first level on how much they repeat the same aesthetic throughout the game. But I didn't want to give the impression that every level is like a village town level. It's not true. There's all kinds of... No. There's like a handful of variety of locations. Caves and forests and factories. These little cube balls, I don't know what they are. Honestly, I don't know what they are. It's like a weird rubber wheel.
They're like quack bombs or something, but their whole purpose is to blow up doors with the neon quack core symbol. So
yeah, so
that's
in
the
that
only
way
thing that will destroy them. And there was the last coin.
It's like breaking down a wall in DKC or in Tropical Freeze. Yeah. The shield walls, where you have to throw something at the shield, or to get to break behind it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this Zingari is named after Gary Richards, who was head of the handheld team at Rare for a long time, and then kind of the head designer on this game.
And he's quickly, like, I didn't give him enough recognition or credit when he was at Rare, because, you know, there are names that you gravitate towards fans, like, I'm a Greg Mayles fan. I think the world of Greg Mayles and his design philosophies. I'm a Steve Mayles fan. The Mayles brothers, you know. Chris Sutherland is another big one. Gary Richards has rocketed to the top of my esteemed creator list because of this game. And now I'm going back and looking at his work on the handheld team. I was like, oh yeah, I've always been a Gary Richards fan. What the hell is wrong with me? So that's a name you're going to be hearing a lot on DK Vine if you follow us. Gary Richards. He's definitely a genius. He's a brilliant man, and this is his baby.
We've got about 10 minutes left. That's not enough time to do a level, but I think it would be cool if we could solve one puzzle on the overworld to flood this level, just to demonstrate.
Oh, okay. So you see, there's a riverbed here that's dry, and there is a floodgate here, but what? So, oh, hold on. It's our old friend Trouser. Oh no, it's Trouser.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your wallet, Yooka. So I really like Laylee's characterization in this game. She was just kind of mean in the first game, and here I feel like there's a lot more depth to her. She's not just Kazooie. She is her own character.
Paywall. It's a paywall. That's a joke.
Yeah.
But they gate progress on the overworld behind progress in the levels. Because these paywalls can be bought off with the Twit coins. And you need to collect a certain number of Twit coins to progress in the overworld.
So there we go. And then you can see we now have unlocked another part of the overworld. And the overworld is massive, too. This is just but a small fraction. It's covered with clouds here, but... And then that gives us access to even more chapters of the Royal Kingdom.
And some of those chapters, you can kind of do them in the order you want. And some of them are kind of like, well, because of the way the overworld is at, you have to kind of navigate a certain way to get around. Oh, God. It's she.
Gah, I mean, it's you. This is a Tonic Menu. And I've got Catchy already.
So you can equip any 3 tonics at a time, and then they will.
Now some tonics cannot be equipped together, but it will let you know that.
And so tonics that make the game easier also put a negative multiplier on your quill count. So it's like this will make it easier to retain Laylee whenever you lose Laylee. But you will get slightly less quills every level. At the end of the level, it will basically take away 10% of your quills. Other things will make the game harder. You can choose to make the game harder, like having less checkpoints.
Sorry, big chunk of cheese. I have to laugh at that. That's it.
You could have like a tonic
actually
that will
sounds
make
really useful.
less checkmates. But then you get more quills because you're playing in a harder version of the level. And there's all kinds of tonics. There's just so many variety.
By the way, quills are also hidden in the long grass on the overworld, so if you find long grass, you can just roll through it and...
So we know what Twit coins do, but the question is what do the... And we know what the tonics do. Tonics you find in the overworld, like, by doing puzzles and stuff, or discovering them. But what do the quills do?
Quills, you use those to pay Bendy essentially to use the tonic. She will activate the tonic for you.
Oh, that's right. Right. Okay, so...
And you can also pay them to the Planker's friends, and then a nearby fern has a secret hide inside. Buddy Slam the fern to reveal it. Could you mean this fern? No. Could you mean this fern? Yes. So now I got another tonic. And that's huge, Ed. Like
so there's really 3 collectibles. There's really only 3 collectibles. Yeah. There's tonics that you have to discover on the overworld.
You see there's a tonic up there, but I can't reach it yet.
The tonics you discover in the overworld, you have to use... And they do something for you in the levels. So doing something on the overworld affects your play in the levels. And then in the levels, you get quills, and you use the quills to buy the tonics. So they're interconnected. It's like it's in a weird way, it's like a food chain or like a ecosystem. Like everything is working in synchronicity. The Twit coins let you progress on the overworld. Overworld lets you get more tonics. Tonics help you play in the levels, and in the levels get you the quills that you use to buy the tonics. So they're all connected. Nothing is superfluous or like just there to be there. Every collectible kind of like the tonics could just be like, oh, collect 50 hidden things. But no, each one of them does something, which is awesome. I don't think we're gonna open up this water because you have to get the water flowing. Don't you have to go all the way to Rampo? And that might take a little too long.
Yeah,
we'll see what we get. But yeah, using this block, you can get up there, and then you can get up the other side and use the bomb bush to break the barrier that is blocking the cave. So if you like this kind of puzzle, this kind of overworld exploration, this is, that's what the overworld is like.
And you said you like the corplets, Jeff. Here's where the corplets appear in this game. They appear on the overworld.
I don't like the corplets. Yooka-Laylee. I like killing them.
Oh, well, then you're in luck. 'Cause that's what we're doing. Oh, no. I lost some quills there, but you can reclaim some of the ones you lost. So you see, well, that way, take that out. And I like to just have a clear path. And then what's through here? I really want to keep playing this, but we got to play Brawl out soon. So, oh, I can show a Pagey challenge. Okay.
Yeah, Pages used to be the main collectible.
By the way, Dr. Puzz is just right up there. Dr. Puzz and her goldfish friend, who is obviously Royston.
Now Pages exist. They're not really tied to the plot of the game, but they're just in the overworld, and you can find them, and if you do their challenge, they will affect the overworld for you, and that is necessary for you to progress. Like, you have to
these
do
are
that.
essentially Donkey Kong style bonus levels, right? And that's it. They're all varied, though. They're all different, and they're a lot of fun. I always have to smile whenever I get a Pagey challenge in this game.
Yeah, I like the Pages.
Yeah, and this game has really made me like a lot of the Yooka-Laylee cast way more than I did in the original Yooka-Laylee. It's also made me like the Pages a lot more. They're just, everybody's so well written in this game, and I feel like everybody's made more endearing and less harsh. Because in Yooka-Laylee, I feel like, so here we go, Pagey power, and they're changing the overworld. And there's Dr. Puzz and Royston, and then it lowers, and we can visit them.
We haven't talked much about the music. It's something I want to touch on before we go. The overworld is done with Grant Kirkhope music, right? Which is a very, like, banjo-y sound. But then the levels are mostly David Wise and a few other new, like, Playtonic, I think Grant Kirkhope and David Wise both work freelance for Playtonic.
They do.
But they also have their own in-house composers that have done some of the best tracks in this game. And in some ways they have been able to emulate or build or learn from the David Wise sound style, but they also have their own style, and it's really good. And I think that the music gels better in this game than it does in the first Yooka-Laylee, because it's bifurcated from, like, there's a difference between the overworld and the levels. So going between the two music styles doesn't feel jarring.
Let me just show people here. So on the tonic menu now, I've found 2 tonics that I've not paid for. So I can, I have enough quills. I have over 1,000 quills. So these cost $7.50 each. There's Quill Banker. You no longer lose quills when Yooka dies. Makes it easier to save up for more tonics like this one. And Twit Coin Banker. No longer lose Twit coins when Yooka dies. We'll just show that. Now that's one I can actually equip. You paid Vendy and she does her whatever she needs to do, and then really quick, let's just pay a visit to the reason this game is DKU in the first place, or the original Yooka-Laylee is DKU. There's Dr. Puzz and Royston. And she would be responsible for the state change of the 3rd chapter, but we're not gonna have time to play that. We hit the switch, and then her machine will alter the chapter, which is Wild Web Woods, not Web Woods. It's Wild Web Woods, because when you have the same name as something that's already established, you add the word wild to it. I learned that from the Beatles' White Album and Honey Pie. So, yeah, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. If you're a Donkey Kong Country fan, you owe it to yourself to play this game. If you're a fan of Rare's Game Boy Advance output, you owe it to yourself to play this game. If you're a fan of just really good video games, you owe it to yourself to play this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time now. in my top 10 and steadily rising. So it's definitely a game to seek out. So it's time to play Brawl Out though.